Hello everyone and welcome to the AR/VR Bootcamp organized by DSCKIIT and
XoRphilic.
I am Sanchit Sharma, your instructor for this Unity videos, and with me I have Aishika Das.
Hi everyone, I'm Aishika and I'm also the co-instructor for this video.
We will be starting with making a game, but as you might have thought that we are here for learning AR/VR development, but why we are starting out with game? So before answering that, I want to tell you that we already had a session on AR/VR about its industry scope, what is AR/VR, from the basics. If you even don't know the word AR/VR, you should go and watch that. The video link is in the description down below. You can check that out. It was a live webinar. If you have missed that, you can just go and check the video on YouTube. So we will be starting with the practical thing in this video. And in our previous webinar, we had concluded that to start the AR/VR, we need to learn Unity game engine. As said, Unity is a game engine, so we'll be starting by getting familiar with Unity. And the best thing to do if you want to get familiar with Unity is to make a game, and we'll be doing that. But before that, let us introduce ourselves. Who are we? So let us start with Oishika.
Hi everyone, I'm Aishika. As you all know, I am currently in second year KIIT. I'm also a game developer.
So yes, that's Oshika, that's the instructor, and I'm your instructor. I'm Sanchit Sharma. I've been developing games from past 2.5 years, and I'm in third year KIIT University. My past 2.5 years experience, I've participated in numerous hackathons, developed courses developed courses during my internships, and have been teaching students how to learn game development. And in this also, I will be teaching you. I will be there for you for getting started with game development, and we will move on towards learning AR/VR development after that. So I'm also a YouTuber. If you want to check that out, there is my channel link in the description down below. You can check that out. I'm an active YouTuber. And if you want to know more about me, you can just log on to www.sanchitgng.in. That's my portfolio. And Sanchit GNG are my initials. You can find me with that initials even in PlayStation Network, in Instagram, LinkedIn, and everywhere. I'm everywhere with the initials Sanchit GNG. So just log on to sanchitgng.in. You might find some cool blogs and stuff. So related to game development. So with that said, let us start with a video. So let us start with the basics. Although we have already covered these topics in our webinar, but still we will just have a quick look towards the topics like
What is Unity, where it is used, why it is preferred over other game engines, what is C#, and if you get stuck, where to go?
So yes, we'll be answering all of that questions. So let us straight away move forwards. Why is Unity used? So basically it's a game development engine, but it is not limited by that. It is also used for AR and VR development, and 70% of the AR VR applications in the market currently use Unity. In fact, almost every second or third game you see on the Play Store is being made on Unity, whether it is Call of Duty Mobile, Among Us, Fall Guys, and just name it, it is made with Unity. Let us move forward.
So next question that we have is why we use Unity and not any other game engine? The main reason is Unity has a big platform. So any mistakes that you are encountered, so it is 99% chance it has been encountered by other developers, and so there is a probability that you will get the answers to those questions in net. Another reason is that it is used by indie game developers. What do you mean by indie game developers? It is meant by individual developers. Although there are Unreal in the market, but Unreal is used for big projects like things, but Unity is mainly focused for individual developers.
Okay, so let us move forward. So why Unity? As I already said, more than 50% of the mobile games that you encounter are made with Unity, and one of the best feature that I think Unity has is one click switch platform. Like with just a single click, you can make apps for Android, iOS, PlayStation, Nintendo, Xbox, anything you can imagine with just a single click. You just need to make your app or game in Unity, and you can port it to any platform, almost any platform. Well, that is one of the best and biggest features of Unity. And talking about the industry, well, Unity developer is in the top 10 fastest growing jobs in the US. And let me tell you, in India also, one of the most fastest growing job is of a AR VR developer. So, and as said, 60% of all apps, AR apps, are made with Unity. Unity is a game engine, but it is far more than it. So let us move forward.
The next question you all might have been how to code in Unity, how to make the game objects move, how to make a person run. So all this is done by coding in C Sharp. So C Sharp is an object-oriented language, programming language, and it is a cousin of Java. So it is syntactically very similar to Java, and it is also the child of C++. So if you are familiar with any of these languages, it is very easy for you to get adapted to this language even if you have no prior knowledge to C Sharp. So in this course, we will also give you basic knowledge of C Sharp. So just stick to it. Moving on.
So moving on, what you should do if you are stuck. If you really want to learn and if you really want to progress, there is no progress without hurdles. And if you are having a hard time with Unity, what you should do, then we have one of the two most important things in Unity if you are stuck. The very first is Unity documentation. Unity is very well documented. If you are having doubt regarding any topic or anything, you just need to go to Unity documentation and you will know it. And the second thing we have is
Reddit or Unity answers. So whatever, so as I've said before, whatever difficulties or whatever errors you have faced before might have been faced by other developers. So there is a section in गलत मैं उसे explain करूँ
इसी तरह से एक्सप्लेन करना, मैं दोबारा से चालू करता हूँ, ठीक है?
एक सेकंड मुझे पता है ये जो मैं पहले भी बोल चुकी हूँ ना क्योंकि सब आंसर्स लेट में मिलते हैं तो ये लाइन मैं फिर से एक्सप्लेन करूँ स्लाइड में
हाँ कर दो कि आंसर्स यहाँ पे मिलेंगे, पहले हो गए तो यहाँ पे मिलेंगे,
ठीक है.
So what you should do if you are stuck, well, if you really want to progress, then there has to be some hurdles. And if you're having a hard time with Unity, where you should go. For this, we have two things, and these are one of the most important things while learning Unity. The very first thing is Unity documentation. Unity is a very used software, very vast software, and if you want to learn anything about any feature about Unity, then Unity documentation is the best place. The second thing, if you have any doubt, if you are having encountered any any problem, then you should go for the second one, which is
Reddit or Unity answer. As I've said before, the Unity has a very big community and the 99% there is a chance the errors or the mistakes that you're encountering now is encountered by other developers. So for the same purpose, you should go to Reddit or Unity answers to find a solution to your problems.
so yes, that's very well said. So let's start with the basics and let's first start by creating a project in Unity, how we can create a project, and let us start with all of that stuff. And for this part of the section, Aishika will be assisting you and I'll be back soon. See you.
Hello guys, so finally we are starting the practical section of this video. I'm hoping that you people have downloaded Unity. In case you haven't, the link is given in the description box. Do check it out. Talking about the prerequisites, there is nothing as such that you need to know. Just that you should have a basic idea of any programming language. It may be Java, C, C++, C Sharp, anything. So now let me take you through how to set up your first project in Unity. As you have seen in the video that is provided in the description box, how to set up how to install Unity Hub. So I have my Unity Hub right here, and the first thing that I see is my project window. So I have a few projects listed out here which you guys might not have. So yeah, so first go to this install section in case you guys haven't downloaded Microsoft Visual Studio Community, which we will be needing for the coding purposes. So yeah, so the install panel shows the different versions of Unity that you have in your local computer. So currently I have 3 versions in my local computer which are shown here. For this video we will be using 2019.4.0. So click on this 3 dots, go to add modules and select on Microsoft Visual Studio Community, and then click on done and it will get installed. As I have it, so I'm not doing that, but yeah, you guys should do it if case you don't have it. So head back to the project section. Here we will first choose the version of Unity we will be using. For now we will use it 2019.4.0. So first select on a template. So we will be selecting on the 3D template. Then you have to provide with a project name. I'll be keeping it DSC XoRphilic project. Then provide with a location where you want your project to be saved in your computer. Then click on click. So it is as simple as to create your first project in Unity. So this might take a while for you to get open. So yeah. So this is the Unity interface that you all will encounter when your project gets created. Typically, the Unity interface has 6 sections, which are the hierarchy window on the extreme left, the project window on the bottom, the inspector panel on the right, then we have the game view, the scene view, and the toolbar on the top. So now let's know about each of these panels in details. The hierarchy panel shows all the game objects that is present on the scene. By default, the hierarchy panel contains the main camera and the directional light. Everything that is seen in the game scene, that is over here, is captured by the main camera present in the scene. So if we click on this main camera, we can see its position over here, that is a transform, and see its position. So it is present on 0, 1, -10. So X, Y, Z are the axes. So it gives a position where the main camera is present on the scene. So as you see, if you click on any game object present on the hierarchy panel, we get to see all its properties and components of it. So the main camera has a transform components which states the position, rotation and scale of it. Then we have the camera part which captures it. So on the camera we have all these detail sections, and there is an audio listener which is basically used to, in case we have a audio source in our game, so it is used to listen to it. So it's an audio listener. So if we want to add anything to the scene view, so right click on the hierarchy panel, go to the 3D objects, and this gives a list of all the default shapes offered by Unity. So let's select the cube. So as we clicked on the cube, see we have the cube present in the hierarchy window and also cube present in the scene view. And I'm clicking the cube, we get to see all the components that the cube have on the inspector panel. So for example, the cube also have the transform which gives its position, which is present on 0, 0, 0, the rotation and the scale. So we can increase the size of the cube by changing its values over here, that is scale values. So if you see, the cube has increased to double of its shape as before. The cube also have a cube mesh renderer and the box collider. So what do you mean by the box collider? It means that a cube will be able to detect any collisions encountered by it. Do not worry, we will discuss about all of this in detail, so just relax. So we can add any component to the cube just by clicking on this add component. So for example, I want to add a component rigid body to it. So when I click this type on rigid body, it shows this rigid body, and see the component rigid body is now attached to the cube. We can now remove this component if we want to keep it, so it just based on our needs. So right now I don't want to keep my rigid body component over attached to this cube, so I'm going to click on this three dots over here, and remove components. See, it's as simple as that. Then next we have the project window. The project window lets you manage and access all the assets that are present in your project. To understand this, let's do something interesting. Let's change the color of the cube that we had just added. To add color to this cube, go to the project panel, right click on it, select create and then material. This will create a material in your project panel. Now you can change the name of the material to something like cube color. Then the inspector panel shows the different properties of this material. You can change the color by going to this albedo and selecting any desired color of your choice. For example, I want to make it a bright red. You can also make it more metallic or increase the smoothness, reduce it to anything you like and click on enter. To change the now we have a material of this type that we have just created. Now we have to assign this material to the cube. For that we can either drag and drop this material to the cube present in the scene or to this cube in the hierarchy. So we am just dragging on this material to this cube in the scene. So now as you can see the cube is of a bright red color just as we wanted it to be. Now if we want to make a copy of this cube for future use and drag and drop this cube into the project window. So this will make a prefab of this cube. So the next question that comes in our mind is what is a prefab and why exactly do we need it? Basically, a prefab means making a blueprint of any game object. To understand this, suppose you have four similar cubes. So the next question that comes up is what is a prefab and why exactly do we need it? Basically, a prefab means making a blueprint of any game object present in the scene. To understand this, let's suppose you have four similar cubes of the exact type. We can make duplicate copies of this cube by clicking on Ctrl plus D. So yeah. So now we have four such copies of the same cube. Now after creating four such cubes, you realize that you wanted the cubes to be of scale 3, but what you currently have is the cubes of scale 2. So to correct this mistake, you have to individually go each of these cubes and change the scale manually. Quite a hectic task, right? Another thing that you can do is you just create a prefab as we have just created and simply select the prefab, change this transform dot scale, that is the scale to 3, and you will see that this thing is reflected back in all the four cubes that is present in our scene. This saves a lot of time and effort. So just now we have discussed what prefabs are. You can directly drag and drop these prefabs from the project window into the scene view and see these cubes are getting added to the scene just like this. So now for the purpose of this video, we won't be making any models, but we will be already sharing you guys with an asset pack, the link of which is given in the description box of this video. We would be providing you with this asset. Let me show you this. Okay, so this one. So as you can see, this is a paid asset, and let me warn you from beforehand, you guys can only use this asset for learning purposes and not in your projects and publish it, because for that reason you have to buy it from Unity's official asset store. So now after we have downloaded this asset from the description link, we would learn how to import an asset into Unity. So go back to the Unity and in the project window right click on it, go to import package, custom package, then navigate in a local computer where you have saved this asset. So in my case it's in this folder, so I'm selecting the asset and click on open. So Unity is now preparing to import this asset, so this is gonna take a while. So yeah, so Unity now shows the list of all the assets that this pack contains, and it allows you to select or unselect the things you want to import or not. So for now, I will click on all because I want to import all the assets it contains, and then click on import. So now the package is imported in Unity, as you can see, and it is showing in this project window. So get back to this prefab section of this folder, and you can see various folders over here. For example, go to buildings and you will see various models of buildings which we are providing you with. Then there is cars, then there is this tree prefabs, roads. So now we will be using some of this model to set up a simple street scene. But before starting, I would like to talk about this toolbar section which I have missed before. So the first four buttons over here are the most important. The first one is the hand tool. If you select on this hand tool, this gives a hand type of shape to your cursor which lets you move across the scene view. So you can see the scene view from different perspectives by clicking on this hand tool. The next is the move tool, which lets you select any game object and move it across the scene view. So see, I'm moving this cube. It lets you move it across all axes. This is the y axis, this is the x axis, and this is the z axis. The next two tools are the rotate and the scale tool, which lets you change the rotation and the size of the game objects respectively. So so now you will see me using all of these tools with some of the keyboard shortcuts and not by manually going and clicking on this. So just bear with me. The keyboard shortcuts for these four tools are Q, W, E and R. For example, just by clicking on Q, I am moving on to the hand tool and I can navigate across the scene view. Then by clicking on W, I can change the position of this game object, and E for rotation and R for changing the size of the object. So now let's get started with setting up the first scene as we have promised. So we begin by deleting these cubes that we had just added on the scene before. And then we start by dragging and dropping some prefabs from the asset pack that we have downloaded. So here I will put some roads. So as you can see, here is a road. I will adjust the position and scale accordingly to set up my scene. Now we put some cars over here. So this is the street scene that we have just created. This is the play mode. This is how your game gonna look. So in play mode, this is the play button over here. This is the pause button. Now our scene is a static one because we haven't made any scripts to move or game objects. So this is a static scene. Right now our hierarchy panel is full of different game objects and looks a bit clustered. So what we're gonna do is clean it. We create an empty game object by clicking on this plus, create empty, and I would name it environment. And I'm I'm then going to put all the environment related game objects inside this empty game object, that is from this point. So we have all these empty objects up till this road. I'm going to drag and drop it into the empty game object environment. Then I'm going to make another similar empty game object and name it cars. Sorry. And again I'm going to drag all the cars into this cars game object. So now our hierarchy panel looks a lot better and clean. As I said before, our scene is now a simple static scene when everything is a still. No cars are moving, nothing is happening. To make a car move, or any game object move rather, we have to add a C# script to it. So now let me select a car. For example, I'm going to select this fire truck. Going to the inspector panel of the fire truck and click on add component. I'm going to name a script fire truck controller. Then click on new script, create and add. This will create a new C# script in the project panel of our Unity. Double click on it to open. So now as we see in this section, we have two methods. The first one is the start method and it's the update method. In the update method, I'm going to write debug.log. This is my fire truck. And I'm going to save it. And this will take a while. So now if I click on play and I go to the console window, it's showing the statement that I just printed is this is my fire truck. So that means my C# script is getting executed. So now we can make a game object or rather a car move by writing the requisite codes for it in this section, and this will be explained to you by Sanchit. So yeah guys, this is my part for this video. I'm gonna signing off, and from now on Sanchit will be taking over. Thank you.
So just like you saw, here we have our city, and this has been made using those assets only, and these are just arrangements of those buildings, and you can also make your own, and I hope that you have made one. So we'll be getting started with this. So let us start. So the first thing that we are gonna do is choose a thing to move, and what I have thought for this game is I will be starting by creating a path. So what actually we do in this game, we'll have an ambulance, or you can pick an ambulance, or you can pick anything. I will be going with the ambulance. So we will have an ambulance here somewhere, and we will, like, here, check out my pointer. Actually, let me make this bigger. So we will have our ambulance somewhere here, and there will be points, like there will be some stars, kinds of cool stuff that the ambulance needs to collect. So the ambulance will choose, so like we will choose the path, and we will control the ambulance, and we will need to go to the other part of the city to finish the game. So this is what I have thought, like, for our game. And for initially, for example, what I have chosen is we will be starting somewhere here or somewhere here. You can choose yours, and you can make your own city. So I will be starting like here, and we will be going like this and getting towards passing this jam. We will be going towards the end of the city, this one. So how the player will know that where will need to go, like we will be having collectibles. So the player actually will control the ambulance and collect the things, and finally he will be across the city. And this is just a simple game, and it is the aim of our game. to drive the ambulance to the accurate part. You can imagine yours, you can make whatever you want, because actually this is not focused on creating a full-fledged game, but this thing is focused more on getting up your basics right. So we'll be doing this, and without wasting any time, let us start by choosing our ambulance. So as I said, you can even choose a taxi, but I will go with the ambulance because I find this cool. So I will just bring this ambulance here. So I will just bring this ambulance here. I will position it correctly using the same keys as QWER. I will position it somewhat here, and okay, so like this view is accurate. But let me go to my game view. I'm just holding the left mouse button and drag and dropping my game view here. So this is my game view, but I want my game view camera to show this thing, like this, the scene view. The game view should show this scene rather than showing this somewhere middle of a jam. So what I will be doing is I will be clicking on my camera and double clicking on it. So you see, here is my camera and it is focusing like this. This is a camera preview. That's why in the game view we are seeing this. But what we want is our camera to show our ambulance. So here is a cool trick. Just go to your ambulance and wait a minute, I just lost mine. Okay, so here is my ambulance. So just go to the ambulance and okay, just position your scene view as you want it to be in the game view. Okay, because I want the game view to look like this. Then select your camera, click on game object, and then click on align with view, or control plus shift plus F. Both will work. And you can see the camera preview has changed and our game view is now showing what we wanted, our ambulance. So this is the thing, and we will go on with this one. So the next thing that we need to do is get the colliders and rigid bodies set up. Now if you are hearing it for the first time, you might be wondering what it is, but don't worry, we will be soon getting started with it. So as you have already experimented with the Unity's basic shapes, let us go and create some colliders. So when I click on play mode, actually, let us see what happens. So as expected, nothing happened because these are just 3D models. Nothing is happening there. But we want things to happen. So the very first thing is like we want gravity to act, or we want collisions to happen. We want things to collide, because if the things will collide, then it will then something can happen. We want things to collide. We want the ground and the bus to collide. And in all of these things, the one thing is common, that is collisions. So we want collisions to happen. So what you do is first click on the road, okay, and my ambulance is actually in middle of two roads, so I will just move it here so that it is not in the middle of two roads, and position it more correctly. And if I do this, my camera position have to be changed, so I will just position my camera again, select my camera, control shift F, and I have my game view like this. Okay, not like this. Okay, so I want this, control shift and F again, so I have my camera preview and the game view like this as I wanted. So again, you see, this is my road. But this is just a 3D mesh, a 3D model. It doesn't have any physics, it doesn't have any colliders. We need to add a collider. So what are colliders? Colliders make things collide, because if things don't have colliders, they will pass on with each other. If you are wondering what I am saying, let me just show you. I will be adding a collider, so just click on add component and type COLL and you will have different type of colliders. For the road one, I suggest you to select mesh collider. So it will automatically have a mesh collider on it, and click on R1 because everything that has to be collided or that has to react to collisions need to have a collider. So select the van, okay, and add a collider to it too. So I will just, but not the mesh collider this time. I will add box collider, not the 2D one, but a normal box collider, the first one here. So I will add a box collider because actually this ambulance looks more like a box. So I will add it. So I have a collider on my ambulance and on my road also. I have a mesh collider on my road. Okay. So I have a mesh collider on my road and I have a collider on my ambulance, and let us see what happens now. So just click on the play mode. So as you again saw, nothing is happening. But why? We added colliders, but still nothing happened. That's because to make collisions happen, we need physics. And in Unity, at whichever level you are, whenever we talk about physics, we talk about rigid bodies. So to simulate physics in a game engine, especially in a game engine like Unity, we use rigid bodies. So we need, now the first question arises, physics needs to be added, but where? So I will add a physics to my ambulance. Let me add it to my ambulance. Just add component, just click on add component, type RIGID and add the normal rigid body, not the 2D one. Then click on play mode and let's see if something happens or not. Okay, so something is happening. Like my ambulance is like tilting and it's, but why that is happening? So let me clear the concept of rigid bodies and colliders. So for that, have your ambulance rise above in the sky first. Okay, now we will see. Click on play mode. Okay, so now you, as you saw, the physics, the gravity is acting and the collisions are happening. The road and the bus collided, that's why they are not passing each other. But what would happen if we don't have a collider on either of them or on any one of them? So let me just disable the collider. You can remove the collider by going towards these three dots and click on remove component, but I will just disable it. So to disable the collider, just click on, just untick this button. So just untick this, and as you saw, my ambulance passed away. It passed from the road. That's the importance of colliders. The physics was acting, the gravity was acting, but it was the colliders that was making things collide. That's why colliders and rigid bodies go hand in hand, because we want collisions to happen. The things should collide, but how the things will collide if there is no rigid body? But and the other way around, we want physics to act in like in this way. But if no collisions are happening, what is the purpose of using? So in majority of the cases, and at least in beginner cases, you will have rigid bodies and colliders go hand in hand. That's why Unity, but you might be wondering why then Unity doesn't have a single function, why they have colliders and rigid bodies as a separate things. When you will learn Unity to a subsequent level and when you will make more projects, you will understand that there is a need to have colliders and rigid bodies to be separated. And rigid bodies and colliders is a very vast topic. There are many confusions that might arise once you are starting to learn. But as we are just having on the beginner level, I will not go in much deep. I will not go much deep, and I will just start. So let us just start by adding a collider and rigid body to our ambulance. You might have understood the relationship between collider and rigid bodies. To just give you a recap, rigid body adds physics and colliders is adding the collision between two objects. Okay, so let us move forward. But one thing you notice that when we are clicking on play mode, okay, just click on the play mode, and why it is like tilting, come to the scene view and you will see these green borders are actually the borders of colliders, and our colliders are not proper because the wheels of the ambulance are actually digging under the road, and that should not happen. So what should I do actually? We need to change something in the colliders. So get your fire truck selected, have your fire truck selected, and in the box collider, in the size, not in the size, in the center, like we need to make the collider rise. Okay, so you can just experiment with the values. Okay, you can experiment with the values, and I highly recommend you to experiment, because that's the way how you learn, by experimenting things. But here I will go straight away and I will make you understand. Here is the y-axis. See, here is the y-axis. So we want the thing to rise. So we want the thing to rise above the y-axis. Okay, because the wheels are going under the ground. So I want it to rise. So what I will do in the center, I will just increase the y-axis, or I will decrease the y-axis actually, and you can see that the truck is actually rising. So now you can say that okay, it is approximately correct. Don't make it absolutely correct. Approximation is nice. Okay, so this looks perfect. So now we have our ambulance with colliders and rigid body properly set up, and it is just standing. But wait a minute, if you are in the play mode and you have done this, the changes will be reverted back, because in the play mode nothing is saved. So what we should do is, I will click on these three dots and I will click on copy component, and then I will exit the play mode, and as you can see, all the things are again reset, because whatever changes you make in the play mode are not saved. So I will just go to box collider and have paste component values. So I will just paste those values and I will make it lower, just make it a little high. Okay, and then I will enter the play mode. So as you can see, now my truck is looking something good, and here you can see the colliders are properly set up because the wheels are touching the ground now. Okay, so everything looks good till now. So let us move forward. Let us exit the play mode and let us start by adding a script. Yes, now is the time when we will start coding. So let us start a script. So the first thing comes in mind that what we should name our script. So I will just name it as controller, because the script will actually control the ambulance. So I will just name it as controller. Click on new script, click on create and add. So the Unity will automatically create a script and add it. to this game object, that is the truck, if you do it this way. If you're encountering any problems, I highly recommend you to follow exactly what I am doing. Unity is a vast software, it has many options, there are many different ways to do a single thing. But for now, just control your wings and go with me, do exactly what I am doing. If you are thinking like I'm not able to digest this thing, just wait. Things take time to digest. As you will, we will move forward. Things will get clearer and clearer, and you will understand it. But just for now, just control your wings. So I have a script or attached to my ambulance scheme object, and to open it, I will double click. So here is our script. Okay, so here is our script. There are already start and update functions. So what the start function does, it is already written. Start is called before the first frame update, and update is called once every frame. Now you might be thinking, what is the frame? So let me just clear it out. When you click on play button, just click on play button, and as soon as you click on play button, the very first function that is automatically called is the start function. Whatever you put in start, it will automatically be called. Just remember this. And about the update function, just click on this stats button. Okay, just click on this stats button, and you can see that it is currently running at around 300 fps. And what is this 300 fps? It is 300 frames per second. So that update function would be called this much time, this amount of, like, it will be called 300 times in my machine. Okay, because in a game the state needs to be updated every frame. Okay, so that is it for this. We started with the start function and the frame, and let us go and do something. So what we want is, we want our truck to move. Okay, we want our truck to move. So let us go. And the right place to start like typing or to start our code is in the update. But why? Because we want our truck to move gradually. Like, we don't want it to be at a specific position, we want to move it gradually. So we want to move it by a certain amount every frame. So we will start with the update function. And what we will start, well, just type transform. And before even starting, I want you to know that we are starting with the coding. And before, like, this series, we are assuming that you know at least one programming language, so that it is easy for you to digest the things and understand. But even if you don't know, and if you are not able to understand this, the programming that I'm currently doing, don't worry, just move on with me and you will learn. Okay, you will learn. Just watch some videos on C Sharp, just watch some videos on Unity and C Sharp, and you will get to know. If you're saying that why I'm doing this transform thing and a lot of why questions are arriving, don't worry, I will be answering that required why questions, and not all of them, because it will lead to confusion. So whatever I'm doing, believe in your instructor, and just gradually, we will just gradually move forward. Okay, so type transform and it should auto complete. Now what is this transform actually? This transform is, and just ensure that it is the small t. There are two types of, it is capital T and small t. So we will be starting with small transform, t transform. And what this transform refers to, it actually refers to this transform. Here is the transform, and it actually refers to this. So we are actually targeting this transform, and you already know what is position, rotation, and scale. So we need to make our vehicle move or our ambulance move. So let us just what we should type. So just go with me. Type transform dot translate. We need to translate our vehicle. Translate is a pre-made function or a method, and where we need to translate our vehicle, we need to translate it forward. Okay, we need the vehicle to move forward. So just type transform dot translate, type vector 3 dot forward. Okay, just type this, put the semicolon, click Control S to save, and let us go to the play mode and see what happens. Okay, so just ensure that the script is attached to the vehicle or the thing that you need or you want to move forward, and then click on play mode. Oh, so the vehicle moved forward and it finally jumped off. And we will soon know why it jumped off. So the vehicle is moving forward. We are not able to control its speed. So we will add those, but let us just first see why it jumped off, or like why it fall down. Because if you remember, we added a collider here only. No collider was attached on this one, so that's why it fall down. So we need to attach colliders on every, like on the roads, on every road. So what I will do is I will just have an aerial view, because it is what I should say, like it is easy, it will be quick. I will just select the roads, for now. I am selecting the straight roads only. Okay, so let us select few more roads, and I will select it, select it. Okay, so okay, these are, and I will be adding colliders to these. So they all are selected, and I will with just like I will add a collider, and automatically the collider would be added to every game object that is of the road. Click on add component and COLL, just type COLL and you will have it. Click on mesh collider, and the collider would be attached to every node. And now let us again go and see our play view or our play mode. Okay, okay, as you saw, it's working. It's working. Our ambulance is moving. But just a minute, we aren't able to control its speed. Okay, and this speed will vary from device to device, because it is being called in an update function. So actually what is happening, let me just explain to you. In update, transform.translate is happening. Okay, and what is this vector 3 dot forward? It is an indication of the forward parameter. Let me just explain you step by step. What is this transform? By transform, we are referring to this one. Let me just select our ambulance. Okay, so the ambulance is selected, and when I type small transform, a small t transform, I am referring to a small t, just to ensure I'm referring to the transform that is attached to this game object to which this script is attached. This controller script is attached to the ambulance, and in this controller script I have typed transform, so it is referring to this transform. Okay, so I'm accessing this, and what I am doing, I'm I'm accessing a method or a function that is an already made method provided by C sharp, that is translate. Okay, translate and vector 3 dot forward. Actually it is provided by Unity, and it is using Unity engine. Okay, So vector 3 dot forward, translate just means to translate, and by what amount we need to translate. So for that we have used vector 3 dot forward. Actually, what is vector 3 dot forward? Just hover your mouse and you will see it is a shorthand for writing vector 3 0 comma 0 comma 1. So it means our vehicle will move 1 unit per frame. It is moving by a 1 unit every frame, and this update is already been called 300 times on my machine. That's why it is moving 300 units per 300 units per second, because in a single second it is on my machine I am having 300 fps, that is 300 frames per second. And this function is being called every frame. So this function is being called 300 times every second. So my vehicle is moving by 1 unit every second. But I don't want this, because in some other machine I will get 60 fps. So it will move 60 frames per second. So the speed of the vehicle will vary from machine to machine or from PC to PC. I don't want that. I want it to be per second only. It is for now, it is per frame. Per frame, whatever the value I will receive, it will move according to that. But I need to make this speed per second. So what I will do is I want it to be 1 unit per second. I will multiply it with type time dot delta time. Now just don't use your just don't think of very what I've used, like what is time dot delta time. For now, just control your wings, and whenever you need to convert something from frames to per second, you use time dot delta time. You multiply that unit with time dot delta time, and it is widely used. Okay, so we will see what effect it has. Just go to the play mode, ensure that it is saved. It is not saved, so I will control S to save. Wait for the script to compile. Go to the play mode, and then click. So it is moving, and now it is moving 1 unit per second, and it is moving quite slow, because that time it was the function was being called 300 frames per second, and now it is only going like 1 unit. Prior it was going up to 200 to 300 units per second the vehicle was running, and now it is running at just 1 unit per second, because we have converted it to 1 unit per second. So let me go, and we need to control the speed. So what I can do is I can multiply it with some value so it will increase. So let me take a variable. Now let us take an int. You all might be familiar with it already. And here I will type the variable name. Let it be speed, because actually this will be the speed of the vehicle. And for now, make it public. Okay, public int speed, and multiply it with speed. And let us have a default value for speed if we do not initialize it. Default value, let it be 20. Okay, and click Ctrl S to save. Now what happened when we made this public? By default it was private, but what happened when we made this public? Just go back to the inspector window, see our script. Now the speed is here, and we can control the vehicle speed from this. We can make it 20, 30, we can make it 100, and the vehicle speed will be controlled. If you hover your mouse here in the speed, just look at my mouse, and you will see that there's a double-sided arrow. You can control the speed using this arrow also, like this. So let us go and click the play mode, and you see now it is running fast. I need to make it slow. I will reduce the speed. I will reduce the speed to 1. I can even make the speed negative so that it will come back. Okay, so you can, okay, and I can make the speed positive if we go forward. So you can see, just see on the controller script, my mouse, I'm controlling it from there. Look at my speed, look at the speed variable. So I'm making it negative. For now it is -15, and the truck is coming backwards. Just see, or actually it fall down, because we haven't attached colliders to that what I should say, the crosswalk or the footpaths. So I don't have colliders on that. So just exit the play mode, and finally we are able to control our vehicle. So let me go through this. One thing is missing. One thing is missing. The vehicle is moving, but the camera is stationary. We want the camera to move along the vehicle. So we want that. So for that, what I will do is, let me click on the camera, and don't forget to save your scene. Control S to save your scene. If this star mark is there, means the scene is not saved, and when you click Control S, this asterisk sign will gone, and it means that the scene is saved. So I want that the camera should move along with the vehicle. So let me just go and let us go and attach a script to the camera, okay? Because we want the camera to move with the vehicle. But before attaching the script, let me show you a quick way. Just drag and drop your camera. Okay, let us cut this. Okay, cut. Just add a component, and what you should call this script. Let me call it camera controller. There has to be no spaces. You can use underscore, but there has to be no spaces in a C# script. Click on new script, click on create and add. And the script will be added to the camera. So you see the script is added. Just double click on the script and the script will open, and okay, so we are here. So again we will need the update function. So what I actually want is, I will just again write transform, small transform dot position. Now what I am referring to, this script is attached to camera, and I'm typing transform. So now I'm referring to this transform. Okay, I'm referring to this transform, and I have typed position. So actually when I type dot, I'm referring to this transform, and the position, this one that is under this transform. Okay, so what I want is the camera position to be equal to something, because we need to change the camera position. So for that we need the camera position to go along with the player. So let me just first type a let me just first take a variable public game object. Now here comes another alien term. What is this game object? So actually whatever you are seeing in this hierarchy view, these things, all of them are game object. So what if you want to work on these things like this 3D model or anything, you will take a variable as a game object. It is just same, it is similar to what we take as int, we are taking as a game object. And just type I will have it as a player, or you can even take it as ambulance, but I will have it as a player. So what I want is player. Now I am referring to this game object dot transform dot position. Okay, click Ctrl S to save. Go to your Unity window, and as we have took it public, you will see that here is an empty field. Now we need to know who is the player is, and we know that our player is this ambulance, and here it is the fire truck. So what you need to do is click on camera and drag and drop, click the left mouse button and just drag and drop here. So I have this fire truck attached. So now the script knows that who the player is or what it needs to follow. So here's the fire truck. When you click on it, it will be like, go to the camera, click on fire truck, and it will be highlighted. So we are referring to this fire truck, and this fire truck is actually an ambulance. Now let us see what happens when we click on the play mode. Okay. Oh, now you understood what happened. Actually, the camera occupied the center position of the ambulance, and that's why we were having that an obsolete, like, alien vision, what I would say. But we don't want that. We want the camera to maintain a distance from the ambulance. So we need a distance unit. And if I forgot, let me tell you what is vector 3. We will again need a vector 3. So vector 3 is nothing but it is just, you can say, as an integer or as a float variable that has 3 values. But why we use vector 3? Because this is a 3D world. In this virtual world we have 3 axes, x, y, and z. And to represent those, we are using vector 3. So what I will do is I will add an offset. Okay, I will add an offset. So I can add a vector 3, and transform dot position, player dot transform dot position, everything is vector 3, because you can see, you can hover it and it will, and you will know that it is a vector 3. Everything is vector 3 because they are representing vector 3 value in the 3D world. So, and they're representing position, and you can see here that the position is xyz value, so it is a vector 3. So we want something to add or subtract it so that it is a little behind and a little above the road. So let me take a variable, vector 3 type variable. Let me name it offset, and let us have a default value. Now how you declare variable in this, it is near similar to Java. New is a dynamic operator. New vector 3 0 comma 5 comma minus 7. So I'm just taking these some random values, like, we'll see if it works or not. You might be wondering how I know these values, because, like, I have worked on these type of projects and I think this value should work. If not, we will change these values, don't worry. Plus offset. Let me just tell you why I chose this value. 5 means 5 units above above the y-axis, because I wanted to be above the road, and minus 7 means a behind the ambulance. So we have player dot transform dot position, add 5 to it, and subtract minus 7 from the x-axis. So we will be somewhere behind the ambulance. Let us see if we are there or not. Click on play mode. Okay, so there are some errors. Expression, invalid expression. So let us go and see what is invalid expression. Actually, we haven't saved it. Click Control S to save, and now let us see if there are any errors or not. Also, there are no errors. Click on play mode and let us see. Okay, so actually again we are having a distorted vision. So I will just pause the game, pause using the pause button, go to the game view. I will go to my camera script, and I haven't made that public, so I cannot adjust it from here. So just exit the play mode. You will just know what I'm saying. Just make this value public, okay, so that we know we can adjust it in the game view itself. Click make it public and Control S to save. So you can see now the offset is visible and we can adjust it in runtime. Click on play mode, pause it. Now adjust the Y value. So nothing is happening as such. But why? Because the game is paused. You see? So we need to make it run. I will just reduce the speed because the ambulance is running too fast. Okay, so I will just reduce the speed for now. I'll just click on ambulance and it is 22. I will make the speed as 1. I want it to be slow. So I'm changing it at runtime so the changes will not be saved. What I will do now, I will click on the play button. It is running slow and I will click on my camera. Here is my camera, just see it. I have selected my camera in the hierarchy window and I will adjust my values now. So I'm adjusting you can see that it is adjusting. I want it so okay, so it should go back. It should be to go towards the x-axis. Yes, this looks correct. And the z-axis should be like this. Okay, I took just random values, that's why. Okay, it should be above. Okay, these are the values. I think these values are perfect. So what I will do in the play mode itself to save the values, I will just click on these and copy component. Okay, then I will just exit the play mode, and after exiting the play mode, I will click on paste component values, and now the values are pasted, and I will again click on play button, and you will see that our ambulance will go perfectly. Okay, so it is going perfectly. The speed is too much. You can reduce the speed because it will soon fall off. So yes, it fall off. The physics are working, our ambulance is working, the camera is working, our game is going great, and I think it is going good. Let me just tell you what actually for this video it is till this point only, but let me just tell you what we will be doing in the next one and what is our vision. We will be making a game where the ambulance will go, like we will be controlling it with our keyboard. Okay, for now controls not there, and the ambulance will need to collect some objects. It can be anything which will show them the way to cross our city and go to a safe place or something, like anything like that. You can of course make it better, but I have thought of it like it. So we will do that thing in our next video, and we will complete this project in the next video. So till then, just wait it, do this. If you have any doubts, you can comment them down below. If you're not able to understand anything, like, I will advise you to just watch the video again. I haven't discussed that. I haven't discussed deep things, for example, the relationship between collider and rigid bodies, because that is itself a very deep and vast topic. If you want to know more, you can of course search it on YouTube. And talking about YouTube, I'm also a YouTuber and I make videos related to game development only. So if you like that content, you don't forget to check my channel out. The link is in the description. And I hope you liked this video. Do subscribe to DSCKIIT, and we will see you in the next one. Thank you.